The Sahara. Legendary, beguiling, desolate. Little life can survive in this barren terrain. But for ethnic Tuaregs, the desert's interior in northern Niger and Mali has been home for thousands of years.
The Sahara is everything to us. We are from here, and we consider it our mother.
The Tuareg operated trans-Saharan trade routes for centuries. They have maintained their nomadic existence, traveling, herding, and living off the land. It is an existence that is now under threat.
Niger is a rich country from the point of view of its natural resources, but we live in poverty. Why?
Despite more than 10 years of on and off peace negotiations, many Tuaregs in Niger are still in conflict with the government. Dawn and fighters from the Niger Movement for Justice, the MNJ, are put through their paces. On their horizon, positions controlled by the Niger army. Comprised of ethnic Tuaregs and members of other nomadic tribes, the MNJ took up arms in February 2007, demanding a greater share of the Sahara's natural resources that make Niger potentially worth billions of dollars. The violence has seen attacks on army and uranium facilities and the deaths of at least 200 rebels and more than 70 government soldiers.
The government wants to wipe us from this land. This is what pushed me and my brothers to pick up the gun. All we want is to live in our country.
Tuaregs are descended from Berber tribes. They number about 2 million people. Communities can also be found in Libya, Algeria, and Burkina Faso. But the largest populations by far live in the north of Mali and Niger. An increasing scarcity of water and habitable land means many people are forced into a mobile existence in harsh conditions. The MNJ say the Niger authorities do nothing to help.
We have no choice. We are not even considered citizens in our own country. We live in misery. We live in ignorance and disease. Why?
As with many rebel groups, MNJ fighters live life on the move. And, as with many conflicts in Africa, their rebellion is fueled by resources.
The poverty we have is a poverty of governance. We have water in this country, we have good farming areas, we have uranium, gold and many other resources, but this is a poor country politically.
Niger is currently the world's 4th largest producer of uranium, exporting 3,000 tons last year. With countries looking at nuclear options to end their dependency on oil, the price of the mineral has increased tenfold in recent years. Yet despite the fact much of the uranium is found in Tuareg areas, the MNJ say their people see none of the profits.
In the last 30 years, not 1% of uranium revenues went to the local people. In the new rebellion, we have some conditions on the uranium because the price has gone up. We are demanding that at least 20 or 30% of those revenues go back to the people of the region.
In 1991, a series of devastating droughts provoked the first Tuareg rebellion. A ceasefire followed 4 years later with the promise of greater rights for Tuaregs. A promise the MNJ says has been broken.
Nous avons pris les armes une deuxième fois.
We've taken up arms for a second time because we realize that the people in power have never done anything to take into consideration the reality of this region and its people, the people of the north. In the application of the peace accords of 1995, they've done nothing.
HARUN KADEER JADALI is another veteran of both Tuareg uprisings. He took up arms after drought left his family close to starvation.
In 1984, I was a Bedouin living with my brothers and sisters, and there was a great drought. As a man, you're supposed to provide for your family, and at the time, I could not. When you go to the government and you don't find any help, you begin to feel the state has closed all the doors to survival in front of you.
This school in the strategic settlement of Tazazayat now bears the scars of Niger's Saharan conflict. Ailal was the school's cook before it was destroyed by the army in 2007. But he is now fighting for the MNJ.
They threatened the teachers with guns and put a gun to the teacher's head and accused him of not working for the school, but for the MNJ. Finally, they killed some men who were nearly 100 years old. They took them and slaughtered them.
One of those old men helped build the local well before he was executed on suspicion of supporting the rebels. Bent on revenge, his sons have also taken up arms.
Every day I have nightmares about those old men at the well who were slaughtered like animals. I can't get these images out of my mind. I can't have a normal life or go back to the well until the issue is settled officially. I'm obsessed with revenge.
A world away from Tazazayat, in Niger's capital Niger, authorities deny they are closing any doors to the Tuaregs. They claim that far from being singled out for ill treatment, the Tuaregs' problems are mirrored across the nation.
There is misery throughout the country. The people of Niger are suffering in all the regions and from all ethnicities because there is an unnatural level of poverty. This is not a rebellion. These are bandit operations and terrorism.
It's not because they are Tuareg. We don't have this kind of discrimination in Niger. What we are suffering from is bad governance and people who do not have a sense of serving the common good. We suffer more from those who are governing us than from any ethnic discrimination.
Those men in the north have made a choice to take up arms in order to air their point of view. They're free to make that choice. But today, in a democracy like Niger, I have joined a political party to air my point of view. Any wealth found under the soils of Niger belongs to all the people of Niger. We cannot discriminate because of coincidence of nature.
Regardless of the situation elsewhere in the country, Tuareg civilians are the ones suffering. Many have been displaced by the recent fighting. Baby Ahmed and his family were forced to flee the village of Ifrouan. They now live out in the open.
We ran and left all our belongings behind. Now we have no way to get food. We're constantly moving and changing our place, constantly afraid people will find out where we are and come and kill us. The army sees all Tuareg as being the same, whether they're civilians or rebels.
Their animals are now dead, as is Ahmed's mother, who perished during childbirth. A fate 1 in 7 women in Niger will suffer.
Because we fled our village, we couldn't get to a hospital when it was time for her to give birth. She lost a lot of blood and then she died. If we'd been in our village, we could have saved her.
Once a magnet for tourists, much of northern Niger is now a war zone. NGOs are officially banned from operating, as are journalists. Displaced and forgotten by the wider world, the Tuareg have little hope for a happy future.
A young person dreams of finishing their studies and to live a quiet family life. But sadly, this will never happen in Niger, unless we change the situation.
For Niger's nomadic tribes, the situation is changing, but only for the worse. The adverse effects of Mother Nature are now more severe than ever. And the natural resources that were meant to bring untold riches are doing more harm than good.